Good morning. Just get myself organised. Welcome to Friday. As always, if you're watching, do put... Oh dear. Power of speech has gone already and haven't even started. If you are watching, please do pop a comment in the comments. Name, that's, oh dear, you're going to have to prompt me today. Why don't you come around here and do the talk instead? We could have like good morning breakfast thing, couldn't we? Two co-hosts. Good morning, Jay. Good morning, Sue. Good morning, Jane. Good morning, Karen. I always know it's Jane because a pair of socks appears on the avatar. Good morning, Carla. Good morning, Trudy. Welcome to Friday. We will have to do a duo chat one day. You can talk about drums. People like drumming. You can show us how to do it. Good morning, Sue. Good morning, Christine. Yeah, Pete is opposite me working, apparently, or heckling, one or the other. And Eric is fast. There's a huge pile of blankets on the bed, and somewhere under there is an Eric. I'm not sure where, but he's warm. Yeah. Good morning, Rachel. He was dreaming a minute ago. You missed his dreaming. Like he was woofing and squeaking, and yeah, he sounded like a clanger for those of us that are of that age. Good morning, Xenia. Good morning, Andrea. Good morning, Willow Moon. Good morning, Emma. Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Friday. And a nice cup of tea.
You're welcome.
Peppermint and cinnamon. Nice combination. Very nice combination. We found a new supermarket local to us that's opened up, and it's like shopping around the world. It has everything in it, including peppermint and cinnamon tea bags. Good morning, Melinda. We will give it a couple of minutes and then I'll make start. I must admit, I struggled this week. It's been a bit chaotic here. Yes, we are still in our renovations. It's getting there. Painting and the garden this week, which is very exciting. The chaps arrived yesterday to start the garden, and it already looks a million times better. Getting a patio today, so that's a bit exciting. Don't we have to find bodies to put under the patio?
They're already there. I did them last night.
Okay. Actually, my mum always jokes about putting my dad under the patio. Perhaps we should give her a ring. She does watch sometimes. Mum, if you're watching, send him over. The patio's going down today. Yes, peppermint and cinnamon tea. Yes, it's very nice. Very nice indeed. Sue struggles the most to January. Yeah, it's not my favourite month. January is not my favourite month. But yeah, we're towards the end of our renovation now, but it's been a bit chaotic and twirly. So I ummed and ahed about what to talk about. But I've seen a few people this week commenting about what people do for their daily practices. What do you do each day for your spiritual journey? So I thought, to myself, let's have a look at that. So that's what we're going to do. Good morning, Joe. Sue says they actually found a body under the patio of a house in Bristol. That's not good, really. That isn't good. We do joke about it. It seems to be a standing joke, doesn't it? Bodies under the patio. But not good if it actually happens. We did think about burying weird stuff under the house extension just for future generations to find. Good morning, Susan. Well, good evening from Tasmania. Good evening to you. It's time zone still freaked me out completely. It's so bizarre. Good morning, Vanessa. Willow Moon's son used to live in Brookside Close. Interesting. Good morning, Tony. Good morning, Mendy. It's been a hard month. Oh, lost a friend this week. Yeah, there's been a few. Yes, we have too. We've lost a very good friend this month. And yes, Meatloaf, sadly. passed away yesterday. Loss of a legend, basically. Loss of an absolute legend. But also, you know, every life counts, really. So, yeah, hugs to you for losing your friend too. So today I thought I would focus on daily practices. If you've got any comments, obviously, any thoughts, any insights, chuck them in the comments and we will share. Good morning, Susie. I'll do a little chat, waffle about things. Actually, I found a blog that I wrote some time ago, like some years ago, where I'd written what a kitchen witch does on a daily basis. So I'll run through those, and it'll be interesting actually, because it's been a few years since I actually read it. So it'd be interesting to see whether I still do it. Also, because my practice has been not hampered, that's the wrong word, but I haven't had all of my altars and tools and things in the last 4 months. My daily practice has been somewhat lacking too. So I have got some prompts and some ideas to run past you as well. So hopefully it will be a productive talk. Good morning, Christine. Xenia. Yeah, meatloaf. It is, you know, loss of a legend. Absolutely. Good morning, Leslie. So what do you do on a daily basis for your spiritual journey, for your spiritual pathway? I don't think it has to be anything massive. So what I'm going to run through is just simple things that we can all do. Good morning, Holly. Good morning, Tony. Good morning and good night from a tired night nurse. Sweet dreams. I don't know how anybody works nights. Actually, I don't know how anybody's a nurse, to be honest. I would not be good at that job. So hats off to you for doing that. Good morning, Rachel. Good morning, Karen. Been ill in bed or on the sofa all week? Not a good week. Oh, hugs and positive healing blessings to you, Karen. Jane says, this talk is very timely. Friend Alan fixed the rad in my witchy room last night, so now I can sit in there without freezing. Excellent. Sue says, is anyone else getting subtitles? Did you need or want subtitles, Sue? I think it's something to do with if you're watching it on the phone. Yeah. I don't watch things on the phone. It's too small. My brain doesn't cope with it. Right, so let's have a look. So look at my blog that I wrote about what I did on a daily basis. And I do get asked quite often, what do you do as a witch? And then I don't raise demons before breakfast from the fiery pits, because, you know, demons are busy that time in the morning. I'm always too busy anyway. I think it's a bit, people expect as a witch that you do get up before the dawn and you collect the dew and you're out there picking herbs at different hours of the day and standing over cauldrons, making bubbling mixtures and working spells all day, holding rituals every day. And no, it doesn't happen. You know, everyone has to work. I've got a real job. I've got the kitchen witch job. I've got the books. I've got other stuff to do. Family, friend, all, you know, we can't all be full-time witches all day, every day. It'd be nice though. It would be nice, but it doesn't happen. So I think you have to balance out what you do and what you can fit in and work it in with your schedule as well. Let's have a look. Willow Moon says, as I get out of bed, I put my bare feet on the floorboards and say, good morning, earth. Nice. Sit up straight and take a deep breath and say, good morning, air. Stagger to the bathroom, run the tap till the water is warm. Hold a handful and say, hello, fire. Then splash at my face and say, good morning, water. Ready for the day. Perfect. This is what I'm talking about. Simple things, simple, straightforward things. Nothing fancy, no magical tools, just using what we've got and connecting with the day, connecting with all the elements as well. Perfect. Sue says, daily practice is difficult with a chronic illness. I'd like to work out a practice I can vary according to energy levels without feeling less. Absolutely, I do hear you, Sue. I have a bowel disease that scuppers me on more occasions than I care to think about. So yeah, it does take a bit of doing. But I think that the key to that is not beating yourself up about it. If some days you can, some days you can't, doesn't matter. The gods aren't going to strike you down if you don't light a candle that day. It's, yes, as you say, it's working out something that you can work with. Good morning, Maria. Good evening, Nikki. Get that right. I know where you are. Xenia says the same. Yeah, chronic illness, apart from working, leaves me a very small amount of energy to actually do things. Passive consuming like Facebook and TV. Yes, I think this is it. I think it is about really simple stuff. And Willow Moon's suggestion for connecting with the elements first thing in the morning is so straightforward to do and takes, a few minutes and doesn't require too much stress or hassle. Or it's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Good morning, Tess. So it does have to work in with it. I do have a part-time real job. I do have all the other things. So whatever I work with has got to work into my schedule. When I wrote the original blog, I had children at home still going to school. We only have one teenager at home now, and he sorts himself out. So that is a little easier. Although we have Eric now, who requires constant attention. Bless him. I have discovered being organized helps. I know it's, it's not it's not something that's easy to do if you are busy, but it does help if you can get organized. I do have a diary, have my good old 80s file of facts. So I do tend to schedule stuff in there. And I think it's also important to schedule in time for yourself. Schedule in a meditation time or schedule in a ritual time. It really helps to get that organization and put time in for yourself. Denise says, on a morning on getting up, I ask that my magic, protection and energy comes back to me and that any negativity that has attached to me be banished. Nice. Karen, I try and watch sunrise each day if I can and sunset. I know, and your photos each day, Karen, are beautiful. Like to sit outside and to send healing to beings of earth, air, fire and water. Brilliant. Simple, straightforward things that you can do without any hassle, really, generally. Xenia, I do small things like lighting a candle or incense aroma oils, being aware of spirit, the goddess, and such. It is simple things, isn't it? I mean, if you've followed me, you know that I don't have any of my altar stuff. I don't have any magical stuff out. All I have is the hanging of Sulis, which is beautiful, from Naomi Art. And that's pretty much been my focus for the last 4 months. Just a nod to her in the mornings, and I do tend to meditate with her in the evenings. Only a few minutes. I don't even have candles available at the moment to light, so it has to be straightforward. Jane says you could do a whole talk on how to fit witchy practicing with illness, being a carer, working long hours, having kids. I think the secret is to set ourselves, yes, small to-do lists so it's more achievable. I think that's what we need to focus on, because that's how my practice works as well. I've always been busy. I've always had other stuff going on. So it has to be stuff, kitchen witch stuff, that works in with your own way of working. Nikki says new hair. Oh, it was done before Christmas. Thank you. Emma said, Emma says, like to light a candle and just say a simple good morning, afternoon, night as I go past the deities and the earth during the day. Perfect. It's simple and straightforward. I love the idea of lighting candle. It's something that I generally have done. Not recently, no candles. It just makes that connection, doesn't it? It's just that small act that sort of makes that connection, and it is your hello, I'm here. This is my way of honoring you. Maria says, ironically, I'm not a morning person, but it's my most favourite time because the energies are still and calm. Yeah, first thing in the morning is a nice time in the morning, isn't it? I like standing out in the garden. First thing in the morning and last thing at night. It's got a certain stillness to it, hasn't it? Nikki does. Bare feet on the earth and a quiet moment outside once the morning chores are done. Critter to feed and garden to water, then time to wonder in the magic surrounding us. If you have got a garden, it is a sanctuary. Mine is a sanctuary. That's the builders arriving. As Eric will tell you. Xenia says, good idea. Witchcraft for spoony witches. Yes, spoon theory. Kind of what we're covering today, really, because most of the stuff that I work with is really straightforward and simple. I get the whole illness thing. I do have, my own disease, and I've struggled with it since I was 16. And some days I have to tailor what I do because that's literally kicking my butt. So yeah, most of what I do can be adapted. It's all straightforward, simple stuff. Tess says, I have a complicated schedule, each week completely different all the time. So I find that each week I plan small things, even if only on one day when I'm here, go away a lot for work, all over the place. That's it, isn't it? It's about tiny bite-sized things. It doesn't have to be a whole 2-hour ritual. Just lighting a candle, just standing outside and looking up at the moon. That's all it needs to be. And I don't think we need to beat ourselves up if it isn't any more than that. Keep it simple. Saying, I do this often in the evening after work, making myself comfortable, making the room comfortable, lighting a candle. That's my evening ritual. Perfect. Sue, light a candle to my indoor goddess, which burns while I'm here. Every time I see it, I know she's with me. Good old candle. Mary says the post arrived. No, it's the builders. It's the landscapers that have arrived to do the patio. Good morning, John. Only ritual is to get up, make my half milk coffee, singing whilst feeding the cats. Do the cats like your singing? Play with the dog in the garden, just taking it all in. Then I'm ready for what's going to be thrown at me. It's never at a set time. I think we have our own morning rituals, don't we? And I think we can work the magic into those morning rituals. Cup of tea. I will talk about tea magic. I have got a whole talk on tea magic. Just sitting having a cup of tea is a ritual in itself. It is that moment of calm when you can just sit, you can charge the tea, you can, like today I've got cinnamon and peppermint. They've got their own magical properties. Just sitting and spending just a couple of minutes with your cup of tea can be a ritual in itself. Unless the dog barks in the middle of it. Mendy says, love how you are simplistic. You make being a kitchen witch. Thank you, Mendy. It has to be for me. That's my whole practice. It doesn't need to be complicated because, my brain would explode. Rachel, each morning I've begun setting my intention and motivation for each day, and in the evening reflect of what I'm grateful for. Nice. Straightforward, simple. Doesn't require any tools. Senia, benefits of being a solitary witch. One can do witchy practice when there's time and it feels right, and we can do this. And when intuition tells us that it's the right time for a ritual. Intuition is a big thing. I push it all the time. Trust it. It won't let you down. It really won't. Willow Moon, tea contains all the elements. Indeed. It's perfect, isn't it? It is perfect for working with. Maria says, I need my tea as murder is illegal. Quick, someone make Maria a cup of tea. There's no more room under her patio for any more bodies. Nikki, if you have dogs, yes, it's inevitable about first thing in the morning, unless you have Eric, who has to be woken up because he's lazy, aren't you? Yes.
No, that wasn't the builders, that was your mum and dad.
That was my mum with my dad's body to put under the patio. Smart. Yes, my daily practice does involve letting Eric out first thing, going into the garden and just breathe. And I do that last thing at night as well. So yeah, dogs do help. Do you help? Are you singing? Eric's singing. Sally says, tea or coffee as a ritual. I love it. An island of calmness and relaxation. Yes, I have written about tea magic before. It's in one of my books, I think, as well. But I will do a tea chat. Should I do the magic tea chat next week? Remind me, I'll do that next week. But it can be made into a whole ritual. Jane says, if I'm feeling under the weather, I do something while sitting comfortably and call it mindfulness. Definitely. Eric agrees, he does. Nose wrapped back up in his blankets now. He's fine. There may be more barking shortly. Trudy says, for me, it's my morning walk with Pooch. Touch the trees and just soak up the energies. My garden has the same effect. My garden is my sanctuary. But that's it. It's about not being complicated. I do have the luxury of working from home, so I can tailor things. But even then, I've still got jobs that need to be done. So you have to fit it into whatever you're doing. I'm just scrolling through this blog to see what else. Yeah, tea, breakfast. If you sit down and have breakfast, if you sit down and have lunch, calm moments where you can focus on the energy of the drink. You can focus on the energy of the food, the ingredients. Even when you're doing the housework, you can make it into magic. Vacuuming, you can visualize all the negative energy being removed. Same when you're dusting. And Pete is always lighting incense. It's just one of his favorite things to do. But that's a simple thing to do as well, to make your daily practice to light incense, same as you do a candle. I don't beat yourself up about all of this stuff. It has to work for you. You don't have to be a super witch. It's about making things work for you. Definitely. Emma, I have a diary I write each day. It consists of the magic and mundane, but also includes my gratitudes for each day, moon phases and more. It's my daily ritual in a way. Nice. I am notoriously bad at journaling. I buy beautiful notebooks. I write on the first page and I end up using them for notes and book things. And yeah, I am rubbish at it. But if that is your thing and you can get into that, it's a brilliant way of doing your daily ritual, because you can write all sorts of stuff in there, can't you? You can empty your head, but you can also add those bits of magic into it as well. I think if you are trying to connect more with nature, it's a nice idea to do a little daily walk if you can, and then make a note about what plants you saw or what the trees are looking like, if you saw any animals. Nice way to make connections. Sue says, what's housework? I'm not doing any at the moment, so I don't have anything to dust, really. And everything's covered in dust. Yeah, we don't worry about that. Christine says, my moment of calm is when I have my lunch. I put YouTube on with meditative music and sit and chill for a short while before getting back into the crazes of my day. Nice, very nice. I must admit, I have taken, in the last few months, sitting quietly and doing some crochet and putting some music on, which is nice. I have taught myself to crochet and I'm loving it. But it gives me that short while of focus with nothing else going on to allow me to just empty my head, really. Willow Moon knows a herbalist who does a ritual meditative tasting of herbal teas. Nice. Starts off relaxing, breathing, then inhale the scent, visualize the plants it's made from, inhale and visualize it being absorbed into your body through your lungs. Take a sip, note the heat on your lips, taste on your tongue, what you can taste, visualize the plant, it's healing. That is exactly what I do, Willow Moon. That is a brilliant part of drinking tea and making it into a ritual, rather than just slogging it back, taking the time, and it gives you that moment of calm and peace, and you can work with the magic of the plants as well. Tess says, I wish I was as organised as Emma. Love the idea of journaling. Give it a go, Tess. Give it a go. I don't even, if you like to write, and I think handwriting is good, I think it's a way, I think you connect more when you're journaling handwritten, but there's no reason why you can't do it on the computer either. Joe says, I ask what crystal will help me during the day and carry it with me. Nice. Hi, Ness. Yesterday morning on my walk, I just listened to nature as well as looking. The sounds are beautiful. Crows, seagulls, robins. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Nikki, you don't have to journal every day. That's crock. No, you don't. Just do it when you have time and enjoy it. Absolutely. It's my phone's ringing, but it's come up as spam, so don't worry about it. Don't turn it off. I turned the sound off. The phone jumping about on the desk. No, you don't have to do any of this stuff every day. Do it to suit you. No big bolt of lightning's going to come out of the sky and zap you if you haven't journaled for 3 days. It has to work for you. I've got a disclaimer on there, really, in case anybody gets struck by lightning. Emma, I also say hello to my olive tree, holly bush, and apple tree in the garden. If I'm not in the garden, it's always nice. Brilliant. Yes, I think garden is, if you've got a garden, it's important. So I have a list. We did, oh gosh, a couple of years back now, we did a month of challenges over on the Kitchen Witch Facebook group. And I actually adapted them as well. And they are in the Beneath the Moon book. Yes, it's a big one. Actually, join me tomorrow. No, join me Sunday. Join me Sunday, 4 o'clock. Sunday, the 23rd of January, 4 o'clock. Hit YouTube or my Facebook page or Moonbook's Facebook page. I'm doing a live talk about this book and a book launch and giving away a copy of this beast. But in there are some ideas and they include some of the challenges that we did for that month because we tied them in with the moon phases. But I think I'm going to go through them because I think some of them are really useful for just general daily practices. So we'll go through them and see what we come up with. Xenia says, just being in nature. Yep, walking or sitting, just making your mind empty, listening to nature sounds and looking, so wonderful and healing. I also think it doesn't necessarily have to be nature sounds. YouTube has lots, and Spotify as well, lots of nature sounds. You can, if you've got none around you, you can put that on and listen to rainfall, waterfalls, tropical rainforest noises, if that's what makes you peaceful. I like listening to the ocean. I think that's my favorite sound. Ocean and seagulls is one of my favorites. But you can also listen to the sounds around you. And I live in a city, so the sounds are going to be cars, kids coming home from school, dogs barking. Even that can be made into a meditation by acknowledging those sounds, releasing them, and waiting for the next one. So it doesn't have to be Tweety birds or nature sounds. It can be whatever is in your environment. It can be made into a meditation. Tess says, try once a week. Once a week's good for journaling. Yeah, more like a catch-up. Excellent. Karen learnt to crochet, so I had something to do with my hands while my son had his 5th pacemaker fitted. I made a shawl while he was in theatre. It's really relaxing. I think it takes your mind off stuff as well, doesn't it? It does take my, especially something like that. Sue says, whatever you're on today, could you send me some? I think what I'm actually on today is stress. I think I've got to that point where everything's that I've gone past that point and I'm out the other side. Maria's arrived. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Christine loves the shamanic healing music. Yes, nice. Yesterday I put on a gong bath. I love gong baths. But my other half, he fell asleep and snoring was louder than the gong bath. Yes, if you look up on Spotify, YouTube, they've all got gong baths, crystal sound baths. Brilliant. If you can actually get to a physical one, they are amazing. But otherwise, yes, there's lots on available for free on YouTube and Spotify. Jane says, I've tried waiting for next door's dog to bark again and it just keeps me awake. It's just the time. It takes a bit of tweaking to be able to get used to the city sounds in meditation, but it is an interesting thing to try. Sue lives in the country. At the moment, all I can hear is lorries, road planners, drills. Yeah. But they are all sounds. They are sounds of life. They're sounds of living. They're sounds of things being done, getting done. It is an interesting practice to give it a try, to work with the city sounds or loud country sounds in a meditative way. Yep, Lucy loves a gong bath. Christine loves a gong bath. Yep, Xenia loves Tibetan singing bowls. I think the crystal bowls are very personal. I think each one has its different tone, and I find some of them quite cringy. So I think it's about finding the tones that suit you. But once you do, brilliant. So let's have an idea of things. Okay, colour. What you wear. What you wear can affect your mood. Wear something bright to cheer you up. Wear black if that cheers you up. But think about colour magic when you're wearing things, because that's all about changing your mood, lifting your mood. Jewellery as well. If you wear any of your witchy jewellery, I haven't got anything. I haven't got my wedding rings. Don't take that off. But I haven't got any jewellery on at the moment. I'm having some space from all things. So I have taken off all my witchy jewellery as well to see, just to test it out, to see what's happening. But you're back to your intuition. If you want to make a connection with a particular deity and you've got a crystal necklace or a witchy necklace that connects with them, pop that on. If you've got a colour that you associate with a particular deity and you want to connect with them, pop that on. Simple things, simple things. Yes, Nikki says, you do not move in the country for quiet, it's just different noises. Absolutely. Absolutely. I did read a thing once, I think it was Stephen Fry did a program about absolute silence. The absolute nothing of sound is actually like can kill you. They had this room built that was devoid of all sound, and apparently you can't stay in there for very long because it will, you'd be deaded. Weird, but there you go. Karen likes sound bars too. They are good. Give them a try. So colour, I think, is important and can help you with your daily connection, your daily practice. Perhaps you have a T-shirt with pagan images on that makes you feel more connected. Put on. Straightforward things. The other thing I think we've said, some people have said about going outside and standing on the bare earth. You could do that with your hands. Place your palms onto the bare earth and feel the connection. If you don't want to take your shoes off. Air garden, up until yesterday, was incredibly muddy. I could have put my feet in the mud. That would have been quite squishy. But you could do it with the palms of your hand. Put your palms of your hands on the earth and make the connection there. Jane says, like a combine harvester working through the night by floodlights to get the crop in before it rains. Yep, been there, done that many years ago. Xenia says, I do this, being mindful with wearing my necklaces and pendants, deities, gemstones, animal symbols, and I feel connected. Absolutely. For a very long time, I wore my wild boar necklace that the lovely Pixie made me. I took it off before Christmas to have my space, but I am missing it. But I do still have my piggy bracelet on, my Pixie made wild boar bracelet. I don't take that off, so that one stayed on there. But you can, it keeps me connected. But yes, jewelry is a really good way of connecting, and very simple. Nikki says it's incredibly good for you to go bare feet on the earth if you've been around electronics all day. Yeah, absolutely. Helps to remove the energy from the body. Or grounding. Yes, I've written a couple of blogs about grounding and centering. Grounding on a regular basis is really useful. Xenia, Mrs. My Pixie made wild boar too. Yeah, it's creeping back. I have missed it. But I've got it on my bracelet anyway. Christine said, I used to live next door to a field of sheep. I found their bleating through the night quite comforting. I do. Because we are quite close to the sea, the sound of the seagulls in the first thing in the morning, even when it's really, really early and they've got their squawky babies, I love, because it's one of my favourite sounds. Emma made a Morgan pendant, which I love to wear. Also have an entwined snake pendant for Cora. Connections. This can all be part of your daily practice, is just popping a necklace on or popping a bracelet on that you connect or associate with a particular goddess or your spirit animal guide. Lucy, love to go barefoot and I ground every morning before breakfast. Perfect. But if anybody is interested in beautiful jewelry, do have a look at Pixie Made. Amazing, amazing stuff. Jane says, I walked barefoot on the wet grey sand in Iceland. Wow, it felt lovely, amazing. Nikki says, scented oils. They do this. I have got a necklace that has it's a pentacle and it has a little bit of stuff in the back, bit of fabric, and you drop essential oils on it and you can put different ones on each day and wear it. That's a brilliant way. You can change up the oils and make different connections with that, or make anointing oils and pop them on each day. Simple way of connecting. Willow Moon, I wear a copper spiral pendant. I never take it off. Handy to fiddle with if I'm feeling stressed or anxious. It has a spiral, so it reminds me to ground and stand strong. Perfect, perfect, perfect. You can get the spiral pendants too, can't you, that you put different crystals in? That's a nice idea too. Really, really simple things to help you connect, to work into your daily practice. I think about thinking about the elements too. Willow Moon suggested the daily routine where you connect with all four, but have a think about the elements and how you work with them on a mundane level on your daily practices. I have written a book about the earth element. The fire element is out in the summer. The water element is being written, and the air element will be out at some point eventually. But I suggest in those books ways to connect on a practical level with the different elements. It doesn't have to be crystals or herbs or anything fancy or even specifically magical. There are things that we do each day that help connect us with the elements, like showering with water, standing in the garden. But even more outside that, places that you visit, each place that you visit will have an association with a particular element. Eating, cooking, housework is all connected with one or more of the elements. So have a think when you're doing your ordinary mundane things about what element you're connecting with. Jane says the warm spongy earth on a forest floor is lovely to walk on. Yes, definitely. Karen says I'll never take my wolf bracelet off, but decluttered my crystals and pendants. It's good occasionally to have clear out and then kind of bring stuff back in occasionally. Nikki, summer here, so we're enjoying our morning tea in the bothy, watching the dragonflies and birds hunting cicadas. You just like me to say weird things, and singing. Excellent. Sounds perfect. But think about as well, if you're in your kitchen, look through your spice rack, pick one of the spices out that jumps out at you, carry some in your pocket or purse for the day, connect with that particular spice or herb, spend the day connecting with it, see what magic it has to bring for you. An ordinary ingredient from your cupboard, but see what magic it can imbue you with, connect you with, associate with. There's quite a lot of spices and herbs that are specifically tied to different deities too, so you could work with one of those for the day. Simple, straightforward stuff that doesn't cost money that you can do. Look in your whole kitchen cupboard. Doesn't have to just be a spice rack. Flour, rice, pasta, it's all got magical properties. Pick something to work with for that day. Just carry it with you and see what the energy brings. Don't put cooked pasta in your pocket, obviously. Just a couple of bits of dried pasta or a pinch of dried rice, and feel that connection throughout the day. Rachel says, Rachel is Pixie Made. Hope to have new jewelry soon. My mojo's slowly coming back. It's difficult, isn't it? After the festivities of Christmas and then January being January. Yeah, need time out to recharge and feel new inspirations. Definitely. I think January, I've spoken about January before. It is a recharge month. Absolutely. Absolutely. Nikki's asking if you can post the link to the jewelry, please. Rachel, if you could pop a link to your Pixie Made page, that would be very useful. Thank you. My behind the scenes pixies downstairs. Love star anise in the house. Oh, one of my favorites. Use it a lot just to make the house feel happy. It's a beautiful spice with such a lovely flavor and scent, definitely. But it's about connecting with them to see what each spice or herb can bring to you. And it's easy to do, just a daily thing that you can do. And it will help you learn about each item as well. If any of you are like me, you will have a book collection. Mine's all packed in boxes at the moment. But if you have a book collection, pick a magical book just at random out of your collection and flick through the pages and just stop on a random page and read something out that jumps out at you and take that thought with you for the day. Have that as your prompt or your thinking subject for the day. Just randomly, seemingly randomly. Or pick a magical book from your collection, perhaps one that you haven't read yet or one that you haven't read for a long time, and spend 5 minutes having a look through it, having a read through it, just a prompt to kick yourself into action. Thank you. There's the I Am Pixie Made on Facebook. Do have a look. Jane says the first spice I thought was star anise. It feels witchy. Well, it's star shaped as well, isn't it? It is perfect. Very, very simple. At night, stand outside, send a wish up to the moon. During the day, stand outside, send a wish up to the sun. Simple things that help you connect on a daily basis. Moon water. So easy to make. Leave a jar of water out overnight, outside if possible, with a lid on to stop all the creepy crawlies getting in, or on a windowsill that the moonlight comes into. You can create moon water for all of the phases. Details in the book. You can create water for all of the different moon phases, but you can also do it with the sun. You can also create sun water, solar water, by putting the water out at different phases of the sun. Simple, straightforward things to do. Very easy to do. You could pick a flower from your garden or a weed from outside, a fallen leaf, and carry that with you for the day. Or put it on your desk. Make a connection with it. Find out what it is. Do some research about it. But first of all, make a connection with it and see what it has to give to you, what images, what energy it has to do with you, and just spend the day with it while you're doing other things. It can help. Tess, also a crafter, just in the process of planning and changing. Yeah, January is a month for recharging, regrouping, planning and plotting, definitely. Nikki says, does anyone else like bells and chimes? I love having them in the house. I have them in the garden. I do have them in the garden. I do like the sound of wind chimes in the garden. Xenia says, that's how I've been reading all my magical books, flipping through the pages, stopping what catches me, rarely from the beginning to the end. Yeah, it's a perfect way of doing it. Perfect way. Christine, my bedroom faces east and I get the sun when it can be bothered to appear. It's always there. In the morning and at night, I get the moon. Love to bathe in her beautiful, calming light. Simple, straightforward. Yes, just looking out your window at the sun or at the moon. Perfect. Perfect. Jane has little bells hanging on doorknobs to keep the grubblies out. Perfect. Perfect. I don't actually have any doors downstairs, so that wouldn't do much for me. But Tess collected moon water when we had that really special blood moon eclipse, and there was another special one. There are several special moons throughout the year, but you can collect it on every single moon phase. You could have new moon, waxing moon, waxing gibbous moon, full moon, waning gibbous moon, waning moon, dark moon, full moon. You can have water for all the different phases that you can use for your magical workings. Joe got a wind chime as a housewarming present. Perfect. And Xenia has jingle bells at my door and wind chimes at my balcony door and windows. Very, very nice. Yeah, a weekly ritual might be tuning into your Friday mornings. Yeah, definitely. We like that kind of weekly ritual. At the moment, it's pretty much all I'm clinging on to. Definitely. But with the flowers and the plants, if you go for a walk in the morning, or evening, any time of the day, if you go on a dog walk, have a look for a flower or plant or a tree that you haven't seen before, or maybe one in your garden that you haven't noticed before. Work with it to find out the properties and then do some research on it. Work with affirmations. That's very straightforward to do. First thing in the morning, look in the mirror and decide what you need to boost yourself that day. Self-esteem, confidence, strength. What is it you need? And work out an affirmation and say it to yourself several times over throughout the day, just to reaffirm and to boost yourself. Straightforward stuff. Straightforward stuff. Put out a wish to Mother Nature that you'd like something from nature for your altar. And when you're out and about during the day, see what appears. Might be a leaf, might be a pebble, might be a plastic mug. Who knows? It doesn't matter. Just ask for deity or spirit or Mother Nature or whoever you work with to show you a sign, to give you something to keep on your altar as a connection. All sorts of things turned up. All sorts of things. Mandalas. Love working with nature mandalas. Make one. Just spend some time out in your garden making a mandala. So a beautiful picture, basically, or pattern, quite often in a circle, but it can be a spiral or a star or a square or whatever you want it to be. Use leaves, use flowers, use seed heads, pebbles, shells, twigs. If you're indoors, empty the kitchen cupboard. Mandalas made of pasta and spices, and one of my lovely students made a mandala on a pizza, which is genius because you get to eat it afterwards. Make a pizza, make the toppings into a mandala. Another of my lovely students was in a hotel and made a mandala with all of the things like little milk pots and coffee sachets and tea bags. Brilliant mandala. Another way of working magic with everyday things that doesn't take too long and gives you that connection. Just going through here. Give me a second. Christine, collect water from storm. Brilliant. Storm water is fantastic. Storm, snow, hail, all brilliant to collect to work magic with. Sue has bells everywhere, even on my purse and a handbag. You can't creep up on anybody, Sue. My kids laugh. One of my anklets that I wear in the summer has bells in it, and they laugh because I said I can never creep up on them. Christine, when you mentioned moon phases, I immediately thought of Jaffa cakes. Nice. Full moon, half moon, no moon. I've seen pictures of that done with Oreo cookies where they do the moon phases. It's brilliant. Nikki, we felt the earthquake in Tonga 2,000 miles away, heard and felt it. That was a reminder of, yes, Mother Nature and her power, not always positive. Yeah, she's powerful, that's for sure. Jane, I like a quick gratitude stop at random times. Just stop and think of all the things I'm thankful for at that time. Perfect. Easy, straightforward things that don't require anything, that don't need any thought, really, or effort. If you've got trees near you, and even if you're in a city, there will be a tree of some sort somewhere. It might be quite sad, but there will be some. Hop outside and hug it. Ask its permission first, but give it a hug. Choose a tree that you haven't worked with before. Make a connection, do some research, work out the magical properties. Whizzing through these. Animals, look out for animals that cross your path. It might be animals you see in reality. Eric has, I want to say made friends, but that's not the right phrase, with a fox that keeps coming into the garden at night. He goes absolutely mental defending his territory. But we've been seeing foxes quite a lot lately. They're not always messages. When you see animals, they're not always messages. I don't think the fox is a message for us. It's just that we're seeing a lot more foxes coming into the city now, looking for food. But some of them are. We've got a pair of magpies, very exciting, that have moved in the shed a couple of doors down. Have a look out and see what crosses your path. But it might not actually just be animals in reality. It could be you keep seeing the same animal on the television or in a book. Or on billboards. Keep an eye out for animals, and if you see one, spend some time thinking about it, connecting with it. Even if you've just got 10 minutes for a meditation, sit quietly and make a connection with that animal. It may be that they've got a message for you. Water scrying, really easy to do on a daily basis. Fill a dish with water, drop a silver coin in the bottom. If you've got a full moon, let the light of that shine on it, but otherwise just light a candle, set that by it. That involves a few bits and pieces, but it's something that can be easily done. Draw your card. Draw a tarot card, draw an oracle card, draw a playing card if that's all that you've got. Playing cards can be read like tarot cards. If you think about it, they are the minor arcana. So they've got the ace to 10 and the court cards. Draw a daily card and see what it means to you. Don't look in the book. Just look at the card and see what it means to you perfectly. Sue says, off topic, but I want to make a rain chain that looks and is witchy. Any suggestions? I'm thinking crystals and bells and shells. Well, that sounds pretty perfect to me, Sue. Trust your intuition. Rain chains are fascinating things. I'd be interested to see your photos when you're done with it, Sue. But that sounds perfect. Xenia says, how does Eric get along with the magpies? He doesn't seem to pay any of the birds much attention unless they're a pigeon. If it's a pigeon, he'll bark at them. But any of the other birds, sparrows, seagulls, magpies, doesn't seem fussed by them. Don't know why. Sue, there appears to be more foxes in the town than the country. Cannot remember the last time I saw one out here. We see them regularly. I say we've had a fox. They walk along because we're terraced, they walk along the wall of all the houses. They can walk along the whole street along the back wall. And you hear them out in the road quite a lot because they make that awful noise. And in fact, we've seen them when we've been out walking the dog just in the afternoon. And they don't run away either. They're very close up. Nikki says, does the cat licking my nose at 4 a.m. count? Definitely. Well, I suspect its bowl's empty and you haven't fed it. How dreadful. I think that's cat thing, isn't it? Karen says, I keep seeing swans in unusual places. Beautiful, beautiful animals to work with. I would definitely do some more work with that, Karen, and see what messages they've got for you. Christine has Cyril the squirrel. Get him some peanuts every so often. We don't get squirrels in our garden, but they are fascinating creatures. Emma, we've got collar-necked doves and pigeons living in the back garden in our neighbour's tree. We do get a lot of pigeons. We did. They aren't the world's most intelligent birds, bless them, but they are fab. Tess, we have foxes where I work in London. They own a big private house, and the foxes... I thought that was the foxes own a big private house then. Wow, they're well-to-do foxes. Slister foxes. Yeah, I definitely need something today. They own a big private house and the foxes love the woodland area. They're quite naughty and often take children's shoes and eat them if left out. I've seen videos of foxes playing with children's toys in the garden. Very cute to watch the little ones. Yeah, they are. Rachel, love to stand in the garden quietly and watch out. Luna Bunny has a hop around and I watch for birds. The other day I stood and saw goldfinches, sparrows, blue tits, starlings, seagulls and a pigeon. Nice collection. We don't often see, we get a lot of sparrows. If I put out fat balls, then we get starlings. We get seagulls, we get loads of pigeons. But goldfinches and blue tits is nice. We don't often get anything like that. Perfect. Nikki is suggesting driftwood from the beach or the river. I'm assuming that is for Sue's rain chain. Xenia saw a fox in Hart's Mountains on the border of the town, where on the left hand were houses, on the right hand there was a forest. Yeah, they follow humans for food. Yes, and we've now moved to wheelie bins rather than dustbin sacks. When we had just dustbin sacks, they were always ripping them open in the night and spreading everything across. But now it's a wheelie bin, so I think they're really struggling for food. Jane saw a fox that used to live next door to us but moved away. I called her Tippy. Called her and she seemed to recognise me and sat down on the pavement opposite like a dog. We sat and looked at each other for a couple of minutes before she continued on her way. It was lovely to connect in that way. Absolutely, whatever it is, whether it is a fox or a pigeon, make a connection. Make a connection. Nikki says, no foxes or squirrels. The immigrants from England brought rabbits and gorse. Nothing cute. Rabbits are cute, although they do quite a lot of damage in wild ones, don't they, in the garden? Rachel says, each year we notice another visit to the garden. We have lots of different species of bird, mainly because I'm down to one cat who's now 18 and can't catch them anymore. Yeah, cats and birds don't go together very well, do they? Emma says, lots of crows. Morrigan making herself known. Absolutely. It is about making that connection, isn't it? Whatever the animal is, it may just be an animal doing what an animal does. But if you spend some time, you can make a connection to see whether they have a message for you or whether it is something waving at you, making themselves known. Xenia says, one other German friend says, when the forests in the mountains are steaming after heavy rain, the foxes are smoking. I like that. In Berlin, you often have wild boars around the suburbs for food, vandalizing gardens. They can come in my garden any time. I would open the door for them. I'm a little bit jealous of that. I know they can do lots of damage to garden though, but they're just amazing. So I'd let them in. And we've mentioned the candle. So light a candle, spend a few moments watching the flame. Very, very straightforward. Just making that time, I think, is the important thing, isn't it? It is about just taking those few moments out to make a connection, to say thanks to the goddess, to connect with Mother Nature. Just that small, tiny moment. And if you've got an altar, just literally sitting in front of your altar for a couple of minutes to breathe. Does it need clearing? Does it need cleansing? Does it need something adding or something taken away? That just takes a few moments on a, not even a daily basis, weekly basis if you prefer. Connect with the energy around you. I always do that in the gardens in the morning, but connect with your house, connect with the land beneath your house. Make those connections. Christine has live with a bird man. We love watching the starlings bathing and lots of different birds. Often sit on the bed in the morning watching them feeding. That could be included as your daily practice, couldn't it? That is about connecting with Mother Nature. So perfect. Thank you for mentioning the boars, Xenia. That's fantastic. John ended up with a temporary rabbit for 7 years. Not so temporary, as a fox was taking pet chickens and ducks, rabbits and guinea pigs kept in the greenhouse at night. I think that is something to bear in mind about foxes. They are beautiful creatures, but they are coming into cities for food. But I have also seen the devastation that a fox can do to a hen house. They go into some kind of wild rage in a hen house and end up lots and lots of damage. And walking away with one chicken So yeah, if you do have small animals and you have foxes that come into your garden, do make sure they're safe. It's just foxes doing what foxes do. It's, the natural law of thing. Willow Moon, would love to hear about your connection. That's another talk then. I'll put that on the list, Willow Moon. Yeah, Wild Boar has been with me for many, many years. Wouldn't be without him. A good friend had a strong connection with foxes. When she passed, several foxes crossed my path and stood looking at me. Greeted her and thanked her for checking in with me. Fantastic. Maria, as long as you don't leave candles burning. My friend lost all of his musical instruments from a falling. Yeah, yes, I have had a candle holder crack, throwing the candle onto tablecloth, and yeah, it all goes horribly pear-shaped. Yes, never leave a candle lit on its own. But if you light a candle just for your daily practice, it only needs to be a few moments, and then you can snuff it out and light it again the next day. So small things. Don't forget the weather: sun, rain, wind, snow. They're all part of Mother Nature. So just taking a moment to connect with that weather element could be part of your daily practice. It's all about simple, small things that aren't complicated, that don't take lots of time, and that we can fit and work into our daily practice. Cloud scrying. Work with nature, puddle scrying as well if it's been raining. There's lots of things that you can do that are very straightforward, that are easy to do and won't cost money and don't take too much time. But whatever, make it personal to you. It's your practice. Don't let anybody tell you that you're doing it wrong, or that it needs to be done more, or it needs to be done like this or like that. It's your practice. Make it personal to you, and make it work for you. It's got to work into your daily schedule, really. Christine, Jack Frost froze. Yes, it is. It is a little bit nippy out there in the mornings at the moment. Xenia, often we put unnecessary pressure onto ourselves because you think it has to be something big or fancy. We do. We all do it. But no, it doesn't have to be. It really, really doesn't have to be. Just saying good night to the moon and good morning to the sun every day is a daily practice. Make it work for you. Absolutely make it work for you. So thank you very much for joining me all today. If you have any other ideas about easy daily practices, pop them in the comments and we'll share them with each other, because that's what it's all about, sharing how we all work, and see how you go. But yes, don't put pressure on yourself. It's your pathway. Make it work for you. And do join me and this beast. It's a big one. On Sunday, on the YouTube channel, on the Moonbooks Facebook page, on my book Facebook page. Sunday, 4 p.m. UK time. I'll be doing a talk about moon magic, and I will be giving away one of these beasties. We might have to get an entire courier van to deliver the one book because it's a bit heavy. So hopefully see some of you on Sunday. Thank you again for joining me. Think about your daily practices. Don't put pressure on yourself, and look after each other. Stay safe, everyone.